Hi, I'm Julia from GU Teaching Resources, and thank you so much for joining me tonight. As I will firstly apologise for my voice. I lost it yesterday, so this is good compared to where it was. So I said I will share my screen and we will get this going. And what I'm talking about tonight is how to actually do, or why you should be doing, music analysis, because it's my favourite thing to do. Alrighty, so here we go. So as I said, I've got 7 simple steps to make music analysis easy. It really isn't that hard. And I know a lot of people, especially music teachers, they're all about the, let's perform, let's compose. But sometimes you really need your kids just to stop and listen and then appreciate that music for what's actually happening in the music, simply by listening and listening through the lens of the elements of music. So I said, welcome. We're going to look at what is music analysis. I'm going to give you a couple of definitions. I'll give you some benefits of why you want to do music analysis. And then I'll take you through the 7 simple steps, as well as give you some resources, suggested resources that I use all the time to actually help my kids do their own analysis. So what is music analysis? Musical analysis is the study of musical structure in either compositions or performances. Simply put, that's what it is. It's having a look at a piece of music, with whether it be a written composition or a performance. Another way of looking at it, it is the in-depth study of a piece of music, a performance, composition, or collection of musical works. Because as we know, sometimes music, a piece of music is, if it's in isolation, isn't as meaningful as if we look at the whole collection of works. It could be an album, for example. It could be a collection of works, or a symphony, or a suite of works by a classical composer. It is also the understanding of a piece of music in order to appreciate the music for its place in history, society, or contribution to the art form of music itself. And I think mainly that's the one I like the best, because it's about understanding music in its place in history, for the sheer enjoyment of it, the appreciation of it, and how it's maybe contributed to society as a whole, and if nothing else, just for the art form that's being shared. So there's many, many benefits to teaching musical analysis. And some of these benefits, as I said, I'm going to share with you right now. I do this all the time. I love music appreciation, music analysis. I also love performing and composing. I do like those too, but I do enjoy this the most. But one of the best things about teaching musical analysis, it does increase musical awareness and a musicality, thinking musically. It broadens students' horizons. It does also an increased awareness and use of expressive techniques in performance. So if a student is listening widely, especially for not only their own instrument, but of other instruments, they might be able to pick up techniques that they can hear in another instrument that they might be able to apply in some way in their own. Okay, so if they listen to the same sort of music all the time, they're not going to pick up that wide variety of expressive techniques, for example, to add to their own performance. Another benefit is increased awareness and use of the musical elements in the composition process. Again, same sort of thing. If students have listened widely and they are exposed to more different musical genres and styles and instruments and all sorts of musical flavors, so to speak, then they will be able to use those bits and pieces that they've learnt or heard in the composition process as well. Another benefit is the increased appreciation for music as an art form. I've got kids, we're studying some classical music at the moment, and they're like, oh, don't want to do classical. But when you take it and break it down, they appreciate the music for what it is, if it's explained to them, and if it's shown, if they can analyze it and realize that it relates to what they're actually doing as well. It's also, another benefit is increased tolerance of all music, and not just the music that is listened to frequently. So again, depends on what the music they're listening to in the home, or maybe in their earbuds, or in their headphones, okay, or by their friends. Okay, so it's, by listening widely, you're increasing that tolerance for music across the board. And believe it or not, teaching musical analysis, this is the biggie, and this is one thing things I really love is increased literacy levels, because we're broadening the horizon, broadening their vocabulary. And if we actually use that analysis to actually do an extended piece of writing, it certainly does help their literacy levels. And the last one, I think, is increased levels of enjoyment of music beyond the classroom. So I remember music lessons that my teachers did. It was one, I think it was in year 11 or 12, and they were talking about the Beatles. And it's like, I grew up with the Beatles because my dad was a big fan. But I didn't really appreciate it for what it was until I was actually explained a few things around the Beatles, especially their Sgt. Pepper's album, and bits and pieces that it certainly increased my level of enjoyment and appreciation for the Beatles at the time. And if you can hear a train going past, I'm sorry, but also for other reasons. Okay, so that it helped to broaden my horizons, because I was shown different pieces of music. I mean, aleatoric music. What's the guy that did it? Sorry, I've had a mental blank. But, chance music, even though it sounds pretty dissonant and horrible, but I could appreciate why it was done. The guy that does Tone Rose. Sorry, I can't remember at the moment. But 7 steps. Okay, so as I said, there's only 7 steps. It's pretty easy. And once you've got these, if you break it down, it's actually not that hard, and it's not that hard with your kids. And this is honestly a lesson structure I would do with the kids. And if you want them to do music analysis as an assignment, do it with them first. Do this process with them first before you let them do it independently. So the biggest thing is choose a piece of music. Anything. Doesn't matter. Whatever topic you're studying, choose a piece of music to study. Second thing is decide on what element of music you are going to focus on. And as you know, if you've been watching me for a while, you would know those cards, and I can't find them at the moment here. But those cards are the elements of music mind maps. Decide on what you're going to listen, what lens you're going to listen through. Okay, so it might be a piece that has lots of fantastic dynamics. Well, listen just for the dynamics in the piece of music. And if you focus the listening on one of the elements of music, you'll find that the kids actually, instead of going, oh my goodness, I can't do this, it's just too broad, narrow it down for them. And believe me, they'll be able to actually do it and attack it much easier. Number 3, once you've chosen your piece of music and decided what you're listening for, listen. Just listen to the music and enjoy. Just listen. Don't do anything else. Just listen. The 4th time, I would suggest you listen again and then start taking notes about the element of music. So again, if you are going to use the mind maps, you might give that, like if you're doing this in the classroom with a group of kids, you might put them in small groups, and you might give them all a different element of music to listen through. Excuse me. But listen and take notes. And one way that I've done it in the past is, especially if I'm using the mind maps, because I have them printed quite big, like the one behind me, even though that's the concepts of music, sticky notes. And you get them to just write lots of things in sticky notes. That way it's not permanent. And again, they're not afraid. If it's wrong and they make a mistake, they can easily chuck it away. It makes it really, really non-confrontational for the students to actually do it that way. So again, listen again, take notes about the element of music that you're focusing on, and you would repeat that step as many times as you need to. 5, when you think you've listened enough, maybe 2 or 3 times, read over the notes. Again, if they're doing this as a group task, get them to read over their notes and have a listen, and check for understanding, talk to each other. I didn't hear that. I heard that. What about that? Can we add this one in? That's not quite right. Whatever. Make them have the conversation. You might want to have a conversation as a class. Read over the notes, discuss what they've actually come up with, and then see if there's anything that might have been missed. Okay, might be that. And I often find, especially when I do these activities, some kids over here might hear certain things, even though they're listening for the same stuff, and other kids over here will hear very different things. But between them, if by listening and actually talking about it with each other, they both realize, oh yeah, I could hear that too, and I could hear that too. And then they both have benefited from that. So again, check for anything that might have been missed. Next thing, collate and organize your notes into some sort of order. So you might go, all right, maybe you're doing dynamics, and you go, well, what's the order of dynamics in the piece? Maybe it starts off piano, and then it's crescendo into mezzo forte. Then it gets to very, very loud to fortissimo. Then it goes, whatever it is, you might have an order and go, okay, let's do this. And then you might break it down and go, well, what section is that happening? Okay, so that, and make some notes, section 1, section 2, section 1, repeat, whatever it happens to be. okay? But organize your notes and put them into order. And again, doing the good old sticky note, it's non-confrontational. They can play around with that order and see how they actually can put their thoughts into some sort of thing that makes sense. And the last step, number 7, start writing your analysis using a framework such as Peel, TXXC, or music. I have to say, I use all of them. I've used them all in different, depending on what school I was at. Peel was the first one I had to use. My current school is TXXC, but they've actually literally just changed it to TXXL. And then one I prefer to use because I wanted something that was more for my kids was music, okay, which I have talked about that. And again, if you want to know anything about, especially the music framework, there are lots of videos in this channel, so go and have a watch and a listen. Or if you're watching this on Facebook, go over to my YouTube channel and have a look at what I've got over there. But again, start writing using that framework. Again, you might choose to actually get kids to write this together, depending on how many times they've done this, or write it together as a class and then before they do it independently. So guess what? I don't want to make it hard for you. I want to make it easy for you. So what resources do I actually use? And it's these ones, okay? And the reason is these particular ones, they became a product because I was using them and had been using them for years in my own classroom. So this is the project, a music analysis project bundle, and it's been designed to get harder and harder, okay? It deliberately has. So this is the music appreciation bundle. So let's have a little bit of a look. So this one is, again, focusing on the elements of music. Now, I've got some of these printed, right? These are printed little. Remember, I'd like to print a 2 page because it makes it easier. So this is project 1. So you can see there's a fair bit in it. And if you have a look in here, what I do is this particular one, it goes through the concepts that are used in this one are harmony. And then I'll have a look. You get a lot. Okay, so you get like a cover page. I like to keep it simple for the kids. Sorry, my fingers don't want to work. Task description page. Okay, and in here, the ones that are chosen are, sorry, it doesn't say elements of music. Anyway, they're harmony, sorry, melody, performing media, and there should be another one for, and rhythm. They're the 4 elements of music that are in this one. Now, the thing is, you don't have to do all those. You might only choose to do some of them. Now, the sheets on here, okay, there's a marking rubric and everything. Sheets in here. So you get answer questions to answer and focus your listening on. Now, projects 1, 2, and 3, easier than projects 3, 4, 5, so 4, 5, 6. Okay, and projects 1 and 2 do all the elements of music. Project 3 is a comparison. So it's using the same questions but comparing 2 songs. But in them, for each element, okay, I'll give you templates for Peel and TXXC. At one point, at some point, I'll be updating these and adding the music one in there. And that's it. That's project 2 and project 3. There's some extra things that are added, which I'll show you. So they've got all the elements of music in this one. Same questions that are in the other one, but just in terms of, so you've got, you'll say this is performing media. So you've got song 1, song 2, and then a page with a Venn diagram. So you can see similarities, differences, and what they might have in common, as well as a summary. And then there's the paragraph writing templates, again, like Peel and TXXC in there. Again, you choose what pages you want to do. You don't have to do them all. You don't have to do them all. You can choose which ones you want to do. You might want to break it down and things. But as I said, that's my favorite one. You can obviously buy each one of these individually, but you do get a lot more bang for your buck if you buy it as a bundle. So projects 1 to 3 are easier questions, as I was just explaining. Great for a first assignment of music analysis. I use those personally for years 9 especially, and the next ones for year 10, 11, 12, depending on the ability level of my students. And then it should say, projects 3 to 5 are all 2-song comparison analysis. And the questions just get a little bit harder in 4, 5, and 6. They should say to 6. But don't forget, if you want to even save any more money, you can always go and grab the music listening mega bundle. It's big. It's got 43 products in it and includes the music analysis projects, as well as the things that I was talking about last week and the week before, if you've been watching, or maybe you watched a couple of other videos. So you can find plenty of classroom resources ready for you to use today over in my Teachers Pay Teacher store. You can use the link below, or simply just go to Teachers Pay Teachers and type in the search Julia Teaching Resources, and you'll be able to find the Music Analysis Project Bundle. If you'd like a free copy of the Elements of Music Mind Maps, don't forget you can go to this address, juliajulia.com/free mind maps, all smooshed together, and you'll get yourself a free set of the Elements of Music Mind Maps. They're not the coloured ones, they're the blank ones that go with all the things that are on my website, which is juliajulia.com. Now, there's Elements of Music blog posts there for each of the elements of music, and lots of great information for you to help you if you're teaching, or maybe if you're studying music analysis. And that's thanks for watching there. So I said, just a quick one tonight. I think I'm going to do a deeper dive into the benefits of music analysis. I might have to do that later, but also maybe I think I'll do a TXXC and as well as a PEAL paragraph writing structure for some people who like to use those structures, because it depends on your school. My music structure that I like to use fits the same process, fits the same performer, but depending on your school, you need to know how to actually adapt it and use it in with what you are doing, and keeping the powers that be all happy. Okay, so until next time, I'm Julia from GU Teaching Resources, and thank you so much for watching. Bye.